everybody, and welcome to another awesome episode of Movie Guys Podcast. And tonight we're talking about scary stories to tell in the dark. I am Jordan. I'm joined here, like always, with Eric and best friend Ryan. Eric, how you doing tonight?
I'm sitting around a campfire and watching this movie. I am excited this movie came out. I didn't even ask for this movie, but for some reason Guillermo del Toro was just like, no, it needs to be done. And here we are watching this movie. Ryan, are you excited for this?
I'm so.
Yeah.
I'm not too. Yeah, I'm not too thrilled by it, but I mean, I wasn't huge into these books when I was a kid either.
No, you weren't. Really?
No, I mean, I had them. Like most kids that read books, had them. I mean, I've read each of them. I know I've read each of them. I just don't remember. Like the only story I can remember is, um, the girl on the grave, or the girl who stood on the grave.
Yeah, yeah.
Something like
That's
that.
a
That's the only one
classic.
I can remember. Where she accidentally stabs her own gown and dies of fright.
Yep, common story. Dying of fright happens all the time.
Now, here's an obvious question here. What was more memorable for you guys growing up? Was it the stories in the books or was it the illustrations?
I mean, both. Like it had its own effect to everything because it depends on what reading age you were at, or I guess how into scary stories you were. But those stories were, no matter what. I mean, those are uniquely identifiable within itself. It's a brand, you know. Those
It is a brand.
are they oil paintings?
Is it? Are they oil paintings?
Yeah, I'd say
They're
they're oil.
charcoal, aren't they? I thought they were just charcoal because they're black and white and scratchy.
I mean, yeah, they are unique to the book. No matter what they are, they look great, and no matter what the picture is, if it's that style, people will automatically go to this series of books. They'll be like, yep, that's scary stories.
The one that I always remembered was the woman, was the girl with the red ribbon around her neck that follows her life and, marriage and all that stuff. And then when she dies, her husband said, "Why did you wear that ribbon? Can you please take it off?" And she said, "Okay." And she takes off the ribbon and her head falls off.
Bum ba bum. Yep. I always liked the Viper.
I don't know the Viper.
You don't know the Viper? Well, and Ryan said that he doesn't remember much of the books. You guys don't remember the Viper at all?
No, I
No.
don't. Maybe I refresh my memory.
Yeah, you know what? It's a quick story. It was in the first book, I believe. But basically, this guy is just hanging out in his apartment. He's I don't know, he's up in his apartment loft somewhere. I don't know, 10th floor, some shit like that. And he hanging out on a Saturday, just relaxing. He gets a phone call, and there's this deep voice that says, "I'm in the Viper. I'm coming tomorrow morning." And he hangs up. The guy's just like, "What the hell was that? That was kind of creepy, but just a prank call and whatever the hell." Gets up the next morning, and sure enough, he gets a phone call early in the morning and says, "I am the Viper. I'm coming in 2 hours." The guy's just like, "Well, what the hell?" It's probably just a follow up. It's kind of a weird thing. Um, a couple, almost 2 hours go by. It's almost like almost to that time, 10 minutes before. He gets a phone call, and sure enough, it's that voice again. It's deep, this deep voice. He says, "I'm the Viper. I'll be there in 10 minutes." And the guys started to get a little scared now. He's like, "What the fuck is going on, man?" Like, I don't know what the hell to expect. He's going to come through. Sure enough, 10 minutes comes up and knocks at the door. Boom, boom, boom. He's kind of freaked out a little bit. He opens the door, and there's this little short German man that says, "I am the Viper. I wish to wash and wipe your windows."
Oh my god. That's a scary story? Really?
In the first scary story book, they had like because there's different chapters. There's like ones that are about ghosts. There's ones that are about supernatural. I think there's like the songs, the silly songs. It's like the Hearst song, um, which was in this movie, by the way.
Yeah.
And they had like a little funny section too, like a little lighthearted kind of story one. So they had stories of all size or of all types. They did in the second
Hmm.
book too. They did. My favorite one was about the baseball, about the two guys who love
Yeah.
baseball.
Yeah. Well, what I found interesting about this movie is we get a period piece.
68.
Yeah. I was completely shocked about that because I'm sure you guys would agree with some of these reviews that I've read online before seeing the movie. It is Goosebumps, the movie, for older teen, younger adult age, like 16 to 18. This movie's perfect for.
That's a pretty good way of putting that. It's a pretty
Do
good
you
way.
guys agree with that?
I
Yeah.
actually had
I
thought
think
that through that. Yeah.
I think the best way to describe it is Nickelodeon horror.
Oh, this is more hardcore than Nickelodeon Horde. I mean,
I think
Harold, Scarecrow, and
I think well, I mean, Are You Afraid of the Dark? There's some episodes where the monsters do like the creatures of the shows do tend to get a bit done up.
okay. I mean,
Yeah.
but you would still say that this is Nick. I mean, this
I would
has to be
say
like teen Nick horror. Come on, you got to go with like
Well,
teen Nick.
the budget was a lot better for this. I can tell you that because I thought the monsters looked pretty cool. In this one, it was just really like apparently correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure we'll get into it. But the pale fat lady was played by Andy Serkis.
Are
would-
you kidding me?
I would doubt that.
Let me
If
take
that's
a look again.
true,
Let me
if
take a
that's
look
true,
again.
that
But
can't be true.
I'm pretty sure that it was credited for that. Hold on, let's take a look again.
Wow. Well, while he's looking it up, this movie did not make its money back. It had a budget of 28 million and it only grossed 23.3.
That's in its first 3 days. You gotta calm down, Jordan.
Yeah, but you would think, okay, you know what? Before we get into the nuts and bolts of the movie here, wrong month to release this, right? This should be Halloween week, right?
Well, I mean, it all
Why?
depends on what's coming out in October. I know it's coming out the beginning of September, so that would be like the big one to avoid. But I don't know what is coming out in October.
Well, we're reviewing stuff that's coming out in October, and there's no big horror movies coming out in October at all. That's why I'm shocked, because this needs to be released. And in October, it's summer. People are partying, having a good time. The last thing they want to think about is scary ghosts and goblins. The only thing that's coming out in October is Zombieland 2, and that's what we're reviewing.
I really want to look this up. I swear I saw.
I mean, like, so we get some of the stories from the original book. Of course, we get Harold, who is the Scarecrow. We get the pale lady and the big toe one. Remember that story, the big toe one.
That was in the first book. The other ones were not. The other ones were like from the third. Oh no, maybe
that's classic.
they had a lot of references to other ones. Me, Taito D. Walker, the Wendigo, were all the stories. Those were great.
So Ryan, out of the major ones, because there's small little ones they have, like, you know, the Jangling Man and all this stuff, but out of all of them, which one was your favorite? Like the big toe, the red spots, Harold the Scarecrow. Which one do you like?
Like in terms of, like, what do you mean? What's your parameters? Like, is it the monster, how it's shot, how does it build into the story? Like, you just asking me like what I thought was the coolest.
Yeah, coolest, I guess, would be the easiest way, and you can add your own flair to that.
Well, I thought the pale lady segment was the best.
Why is that?
I just thought it was well. I mean, you could say that the toe was the creepiest, but I feel like just with the change to the red lights for the everyone needs to be on alert, and just the endless loop as he's running through, and then the design of the pale lady. Now the face on the monster wasn't that great because the CGI wasn't that good on it. I didn't think.
It was
They
not
looked
CGI.
They looked exactly like it did in the book.
Okay.
That's exactly to a T what she looks like. But go ahead.
You're reading some bullshit here because I think that they use a lot of prosthetics for a lot of this too.
No, I'm not saying that all the monsters are CGI, but they're like watching that in the theater, the face looked like it was CGI.
Sure.
Okay.
But it's still like the monster itself was still pretty cool. I'm not gonna say the face ruins the whole thing. I just thought that whole sequence was very well done compared to a lot of like some of the other ones.
And you still compare it to Nickelodeon Horror when that was a good segment.
No, I don't. Well, see, here's the thing. I'm not using Nickelodeon horror in a derogatory sense. I'm using that as like the targeted demographic. Like it's a horror movie and there's scary elements to it, but it's not like The Conjuring. You know, Conjuring's also PG-13, but that is vastly that is a different type of horror they're going for in that one than they are in this. And even in what's the other movie James Wan made? They have four Insidious.
Yeah.
You know, those are tense. Those are tense movies. This is not a tense movie.
So Ryan, do you think this movie was very predictable then?
Predict? Not really, because I mean I haven't. I mean I didn't read the stories, but I mean you know obviously I was surprised that they all didn't come back at the end. The two characters that got taken.
Right.
Um, but I mean other than that, I knew like they were gonna save the day. Like they weren't the main character wasn't gonna end up in a state where this is the end of her story, or like she's not going to be the victor at the end.
Got kind of a Ring vibe from it, actually.
Uh,
Where they main character or characters in this kind of people are introduced and then they find a supernatural cursed item, and then it opens Pandora's box, and it's up to them to close it again or solve the puzzle, figure it out, which they did. Move on, next story. This does leave it open for even more
yeah.
scarier things to tell around. Yeah. So we'll see. I do think though that they could have fit more maybe in there.
More like just more overall monsters or more of a story.
More the reference. Like the story I get, because the story itself is a story in the books. It's called The Haunted House.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I believe that's the one where the doctor goes. Those a lot of those stories, if you read them, like just throw away your fucking like logic or any sort of people just walk into houses. That's just how it was back then. I guess all the books are like from like referring to 1910s. I guess I don't know.
Hmm.
I mean, maybe 20s because automobiles were around too. Anyway, but some guy like goes up to a farmhouse and he's exhausted from the night's travel and wants to stay the night. Blah blah blah. It's an abandoned house, so he thought he could just squat. And he's in the room and he hears the wailing ghost. Something something something. Finds the body, gives it a proper burial, solves the mystery. Everyone has a day. I think that's
So this is that movie then. There you go. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
so they basically took that story and made it the main, and they fit in Harold the Scarecrow, which was pretty cool. That one's that one's just about two farmers who made a scarecrow like this guy that they hate, and they just kind of use him as a punching bag. And sure enough, Scarecrow gets them both. I
Yeah.
think gets them both. Yeah, he always gets the one.
He turns him into a scarecrow.
Not in the book, but yes, in the book.
In the movie, they do.
In the movie, they do. Yeah, in the book, he just kills him.
So, Eric, what do you think about this being a period piece in 1968? Did you think it was necessary? Do you think they could have made this modern time if they really wanted to, or do you think this time period was actually good for the story?
So here's a theory: is that we are going to see more movies being made in a 95 and then before era when it comes to a lot of scary movies, because the absence of technology answers a lot, or it helps the plot a lot. Um, Doing a movie with technology, you get like you could use it to your advantage. Let's say like a Paranormal Activity, something like that. But to come up with different creative ways, you can get more out of the imagination if it's just, sound. You know what I mean? And I think that's what we're gonna see here, or they're just piggybacking off of maybe it and it's older, or like a Stranger Things where they just like, yeah, older just seems to work.
Ryan, how about you? What do you feel?
Well, I think, see, watching it and trying to figure out why the movie has to be set in 1968, I, for the life of me, could not figure out why it had to be set in 68. because
That's my question.
they talk about like they make a big point. Well, not a big point, but they bring it up enough to where it should have an impact outside of Ramon just being a draft dodger. But like they bring up the Vietnam War, the election of Richard Nixon, and I understand like that would be you could tie that in with the themes of like growing up. That 68 was kind of the watershed year where like the decade of love in the 60s was kind of going out because Vietnam was turning into a bad thing for America, where it just became we were sending our boys over to get killed. And this is the start of the Nixon administration, which in hindsight, not very good with the whole Watergate thing. But like, I for life of me could not figure out why it had to be set in 1968, other than Guillermo del Toro just loves period pieces.
Or
The book was written in
what
the
Eric said.
80s.
What Eric said, though, I mean, it makes easier with no technology.
I know
I
it makes
think
it easy. I understand that, but like these things need to have a reason, right? Like and it just seems kind of cheap to be like, well, we can't. The way to write ourselves out of these problems is to just set it in a period where they don't have these things, and that seems cheap to me. Like if you could make a way, you could find a way if you were, a good enough writer, you could find a way to make it all work, even with cell phones and laptops and instant messaging. But I mean that takes thought and maybe time. Who knows? And it
Yeah,
just seems like just like an easy way out. And that
does
was
it make
one of the
any
things.
sense for Stranger Things to be taking place in the 80s? There's no reason for it to be taking place in the 80s.
Well, that is kind of a different scenario because that is a love letter by those two guys to the movies and the books and the shows they
Yeah.
watched when they were kids.
I agree to
So
that.
that's on a different sort of
Valid.
criteria.
I can argue with
This,
you. That's good.
yeah, this is just it's just a movie that happens to be set in the 60s. I'm assuming because Guillermo del Toro loves period pieces.
Now, one of you guys said this earlier. Why is this movie being made? Eric, I'm going to ask you that question because you said that. Why is this being made? Why are we watching this? I mean, there's no reason for them to do this right now. There's not a new book, right? I mean, what's
Well,
why are we
I'm
doing
curious because if this is going to be like a trend, so that they did the Goosebumps series and they did this series, then are we about to see maybe a revival? We're also seeing Little Women soon as well too. So we're seeing adaptations of or readaptations of popular books and movies yet again, and I wouldn't be surprised if we got to see like a Hardy Boys or a Babysitters Club movie coming up here. I feel like it's in the works. Like it's just they're going to do a popular nostalgic series and just kind of do if we get some Animorphs, an Animorphs movie, would you guys
it?
go check that out?
We would have to for movie guys. That's the only reason why we would watch it is because of the show. Oh my god, I can't wait for
Books
Animorphs.
sell.
That'll be amazing.
Book adaptations sell, and any author or publication that owns one, they would be happy to make a buck off a movie script, even if it's kind of silly. I'm sure I don't know if R.L. Stein made us a few pennies off of that, but I'm sure he had to have, right? I mean, or sold something. So I don't see why it wouldn't be any different from here. I would be excited to see another movie from this because there are a lot more stories that they could do. Uh, I think that this movie seems simple enough to make. I think that maybe just the theme helped for budget as well too because they can just kind of use the the set clothes that have been around for a while.
Well, see, now my question is, if they do another movie, or no, just fuck that. If they, let's say they would do this different, would it have been better if the whole movie was just one story from the book? They just added onto it and explored it more than to having every little monster. I mean, like, could it be the
No,
whole movie
these are
just a big
all
toe?
short stories. Like all these little,
Well, I know.
these are. It's not even like this book doesn't even break 100 pages. I don't think. I mean, they're thin little books. They're and they all have short. They're short stories. Like that girl with the spiders in her cheek. I think that's like a page story, isn't it? It's like,
Well, yeah, but I mean, like Stephen King's Children of the Corn was first published in Playboy, and they made a feature-length film out of that.
I think if you tried to take um, have one monster for the whole movie, it wouldn't. I don't think it would work out because these monsters aren't really that fleshed out. I don't really think there's much to them. Like I get with the Cerebellos because they like I don't know if they created her for this movie or if that's culled from another story in one of the books. But even that only like you only get so much information. I don't really think without those other monsters, I don't think she could sustain a full movie. I don't think the Pale Lady could sustain a full movie.
true.
Maybe the Jangly Man, maybe.
He was not in the books. They made him up for this.
Yeah,
See, there you go.
I did not hear that guy before.
Although
I mean,
his head that rolled down and said "Me Taito D Walker," that is a story in the books.
I mean, this movie kept on bringing me back to a 2001 horror film, 13 Ghosts. That's just kind of what it brought me to. And I don't really want to see 13 Ghosts 2. I want to see scary stories. You guys know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm curious if they could have done just one or two, maybe, instead of doing multiple.
I
Maybe
wanna-
Big Toe and Harold.
I think they could have done more. I really think they could. I like
Or
the way
more
that
monsters.
I like the way that they did it. How they fit in the deaths.
Yeah.
And we did get some good deaths. We got 5 on screen deaths. I think this is a pretty good, a decent kill count for this movie. That's fine. I like that. That's great. No blood. And
That's right, there's no blood.
yeah, and because of that, I think we could have got maybe 1 or 2 more. Maybe a quick elevator death for there's a room for one more, which is a very popular story. I don't know if you guys remember.
Mhm.
There's room for one more, and the guy says no, no thanks. And the elevator crashes. Or I mean, whatever one you could think of. I mean, oh, when Marvin comes is a good one. That's about a giant cat, kind of freaky.
I was just curious about it because it's like, I think they could have added more, but then like I remember there's a movie about a killer scarecrow called Scarecrow. They made 4 of those. So it's like, God, do I really want that movie? I don't know. It's like I guess I wanted more, and this movie is Goosebumps just for like 16 to 18. I mean, it's the same basic plot, right? They find a book, it writes itself where the story goes on, right? It's the same shit.
Yeah, I was
I have
also,
not seen the Goosebumps movies.
Huh?
See, here's an example. So the Goosebumps movies tried to throw in a lot, whereas this didn't do as much. Like it could have.
Yeah.
You guys remember The Hook? Like that's a popular story too. Could have done. I think maybe.
That's an urban
Hocus-
legend.
Yeah, it is an urban legend. Yeah. So I wonder if that's maybe why they didn't do it.
Well, I mean, going into this movie, because I hadn't watched any trailers because I didn't have any real interest in watching the movie. And so I was hoping for something like, not necessarily anthology, but something like the movie Trick or Treat.
Okay.
It's like an ensemble where they're all woven together and they all interact at some point. I was kind of hoping for something like that, but it's what is.
Trick or Treat is actually really fun. And I agree with you, Ryan. I think that would have been a better way to go.
Yeah, because there's this one movie, I think it's called Fun Night, maybe. It's like from 2008. It's a Nickelodeon movie, and it's like their version of a teens raunchy night on the town sort of thing, going party to party. It also takes place on Halloween. And I was thinking, like, I was hoping it would, like, at least it would have something similar to that, like a vibe similar to that, but it kind of does. It kind of does, and like the tame violence that it has. But yeah.
So my question for both of you before we close out the show on this one is, would this have been better if this was a hard R?
No, it
You
doesn't
want
need.
this to be a hard R?
Didn't need it.
Yeah, it does. I don't think it needs to be. Or like I got what they were going for. Like I can understand like the emotions and everything that they're trying to put you through in this movie. without all the violence and the blood. Because I mean, I would say like the Jangly Man is creepy just on his own. What they do with Augie, where it gets drug under the bed, that's that's pretty scary. You don't need blood for that one.
Yeah.
It also in that scene when he is being dragged underneath the bed, because it's iconic because that's the big toe story.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, yeah, when that happened, I gagged. I actually gagged. That grossed me the fuck out. Ugh. Oh god, that was gross, dude. Ugh.
He's doing it on the show. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
I
so
know. I thought it
gross.
was weird how when he was spitting it out,
Oh.
he was still like sucking the juices off of it
Oh,
as he was pulling it from his mouth.
dude, this Jackass, was it 3? I think that one too. Oh my god, where he drank the horse semen.
Yeah.
That I gagged real hard on that one too. So this is bad. But I was disappointed that they did not take the opportunity as he was being hunted, because she's going, who has my toe? Who has my toe? And then when she grabs him, she should have said, "You got it." What you're supposed to do in the books. You're supposed to say, "You got it." So instead, she just screamed.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, they miss some opportunities, but do we really want them to? I don't know. I mean, I'm like back and forth on it because like she should have said you got it because that's the classic line, but then it's like you're expecting that, so it wants something new. Yeah, I don't.
Well, that's the hard thing, is that I'm watching it with such a hard bias that it would, yeah.
Right. I mean, like I can tell that you are definitely the fan. I'm like kind of like the mild fan, and Ryan is not a fan.
The series holds a special place. It really does. It's
Yeah.
a lot of good bonding with my family around a campfire with this.
Was there one story, Eric? Just one story that you wish they would have made into this?
There's so they made good references. Like I would have liked to have seen the Wendigo. That would have been pretty cool. Or the girl stood in the grave. That would have been a good one too. But like the Big Toe's got to be a good one. I'm looking at all of them right now. Oh, the Babysitter, but they're made into a movie. The Viper, which I told the story. A lot of these are just urban legends.
Wasn't the Babysitter the one missed call essentially? The calls are coming from inside the house.
Yes,
yeah.
And there's like the new pet, which is basically the urban legend about Sam's new pet, which is I thought it was a Chihuahua, but it's actually a Mexican sewer rat.
No. Isn't there urban legend where a killer in the house, in the stories too, where a killer in the house puts a dog in the microwave?
Oh yeah. I wonder if I think that's in. Is that one of these?
Or is that from the actual movie, The Urban Legend? I think I'm thinking of the movie Urban Legend.
But again, this book, these series of the books, a lot of them have urban legends in them. So yeah, I mean, I'd have to go over them to see which ones I'd like to see again. But I mean, those would be nice. The Haunted House, yeah, that's here it is. They sang the songs. I would again wait till Martin. That's what it was. It was one of my favorite ones. I think that was just a funny story. Strangers, that's a good one. The Dead Hand. I mean, there's a lot of them that they could have done. So that's why I think there's room for a sequel.
Or well, they got to, right? I mean, it'll be fun if they do, but
they made their money back, right?
No, it made for 28. They've made 23, so not quite there.
Yeah, but it will. I mean, they have to make. Yeah, that's just 3 days. I mean, all they have to do is really make 60 million, and they should be fine.
That's all. Let's get into our popcorn ratings here. Ryan, what is your popcorn rating for Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
I'm gonna go small bag on this one. I think for its targeted demographic, of which I am not, I think that it probably would sell well. It's the movie. It's not like out and out scary. It does have some pretty good imagery with the monsters in it. That's why for me it doesn't get the no bags. I really loved the design of all the monsters. I think that was one of the benefits of having Guillermo del Toro on board as like this, like he's shepherding the project through. But I mean, overall, the script isn't that good. Some of the acting from the teens in the movie is kind of dreadful in parts. I didn't understand, again, like I said earlier, why it had to be set in the 60s, and just some of the stuff, like the storyline with Stella and her mom has gone missing. They didn't even bother to conclude that or give some sort of wrap up to that storyline. I'm assuming because I mean the movie ends with that, with her and her father and Ruthie driving off somewhere
Yeah,
next to a
what the
train,
fuck was that?
saying that
Why-
they're gonna
Ruthie?
bring them back. You know, so like it's setting itself up for the sequel. It was expecting itself to be good enough to get a sequel already. So maybe, you know, that's going to be a big part of number two. But I was like, because I was expecting her to be a Bello, like it's revealed she's a Bello or something, and that's how she can, you know, how she was able to activate whatever secret code she needed to get the book to start doing what it does. But you know, um, yeah, it's just the movie wasn't for me. I think that's the best way to put it. It just wasn't for me.
All right, Eric, what is your popcorn rating for Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
This movie was for me. I am the demographic because I did grow up with this, and it was very impressionable on me, and it's just how it was. I love the series. I was excited to see this movie. This is just plain and simply a PG-13 datum movie. I mean, that's what it is. There are some movies that just play like you go through a haunted house when it's around Halloween, and this movie is just that. This is just a haunted house ride for an hour and 50. So just buckle up and just kind of have fun with a little scary story. That's basically what this is. It's not anything crazy. It's not like an uber horror. It's just another scary story to tell around the dark. I think that's basically what they did, and I like the references. I was looking for them. I really was just eyeing them much as I can. Um, I wish there were a little bit more because again, there's a bunch of these short little stories, and I think you could just fit in like just even whether it be a sentence or an image or just a little detail here. It would have gone a long way. This is a medium bag, and I'll give with a bunch of butter and popcorn just because it's an easy watch. That's plain and simply what it is. It's not going to make any lists. It's not going to win any awards, but it sure is just an easy watch and another Halloween movie to add into the trick or treat bag.
Yeah, I mean, Eric's right. This is definitely an easy watch that I did not sign up for. I mean, I was expecting when I first heard that it was PG-13, my ambitions and hopes kind of got thrown out the window because just like you, Eric, when I was growing up, being young and impressionable, those images, the drawing scared the living shit out of me. So when I heard they were making the movie, I was expecting hard horror, scary, oily, just nasty shit. I didn't get that in this movie, so I guess that was the movie I was looking for.
The books were made for family, and this movie was made for the family.
I don't know those images. I don't think are really made for those. Are some. I mean, like that's like
middle school, like.
Oh come on, that's like borderline H.R. Geiger shit right there. I mean, that's some hardcore shit. Some of those
Grow up.
images.
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting exposed to that. I mean, when you're a kid, when were you looking at creepy shit?
I don't remember the age. What? I 90, 95, 96. I was 9, 10, I guess, when I looked the books up. There was some creepy ass shit in those books. But
you can handle it. What I'm saying, you can handle it at that age.
I agree with Ryan that I thought that some of the acting was definitely a little lackluster on it, but I also have to agree with Ryan on this as well. It is a small bag for me. It wasn't the movie that I wanted. A small bag. But we hope next week is not going to be a small bag for any of us because we're going to be going back the comedy route. We're going to be doing a review of Good Boys, another Seth Rogen Superbad prequel, right? Superbad 2 or whatever. That's what it's going to be.
You think it'll be
Super
same
bad
universe?
Redux.
The Superbad Redux. This is what it's going to be.
You think it'll be part of the like it's all? Do you think there's such thing as a Seth Rogen verse?
I mean, yeah, right. That's what I mean. Like it all ends with this is the end, right?
What would they call the Seth Rogen shared universe?
The the
Stonerverse?
Stonerverse. There you go. You should email James Franco and Seth Rogen that.
Yeah,
I'm
I
good.
wonder what you'd. Hmm. Oh well. What are they?
What?
Because I know that like Will Ferrell and all them were the Frat Pack. Remember how they were making this play on the Rat Pack? They started being the
Yeah.
Rat Pack because they made all those kind of college movies.
This is the Bud Pack. Bud Pack. You know, like Bud
The
as
Bud Pack.
buddies, or
Okay.
Bud as in
I was
Bud
gonna
of
say
weed.
they have a name for that. Yeah.
Yeah, Bud Pack. There we go.
Wonder if they just call them the Apatow Crew.
Apatow Crew. CRUE, right?
But no, there's a K. KRU. Just KRU. Crew.
Nice. Well, everybody, thank you so much for listening to this most recent episode of Movie Guys Podcast. You can check us out at movieguyspodcast.com, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Just search for Movie Guys Podcast. Download this episode that you're listening to, of course, and many others on iTunes, on Spotify, and on iHeartRadio, and of course at movieguyspodcast.com. Thank you so much for listening, everybody, and we'll be back next week for another awesome episode with Good Boys. Have a good night.